Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Be Agile Scrum Track, another day. And if you can hear me clearly, kindly say yes. Unmute yourself and say yes if you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much. Thank you so
Yes,
much
sir.
for the confirmation. Appreciate that.
Yes.
So, hello
Yes, sir.
everyone. We are in another day of Be Agile Scrum Track, and we are heading towards week 3. However, we conduct in a way that it sounds like you are in day 1. I mean, even if you are joining for the first time, this is going to be your day 1. Your objective is to complete your 8 weeks of training, and in case you are already the one who have who has fair knowledge about Be Agile Scrum, and you only joined this training track because the system demands, because the Guru School's 6 pillars of training demands that, and you want to speed up, you are immune to go ahead and attend the attend the RRP training, that is reference ready resume preparation, which will be the key helpful step that will speed up your placement. So it should be very much clear to each one of you. Having said so, let me ask you this question. Anyone here for attending here for the first time? Is it your day 1? Anyone? You can unmute and speak up as if it is your day 1. Say me if it is your day 1. Sandy, is it you?
Yes.
Okay, so Sandy, welcome to Guru Schools. We would love to hear from you 4 things. Number 1, your name, from where you are connecting, what is your educational background, as well as if you have any working experience in the past, any kind of working experience. So over to you, Sandy.
Hi, my name is Sandhya. I am connecting from Virginia, USA, and I have my experience in the past. I worked in India for 7 years in the HR industry as an account manager, and also in the US for the past 1 year. I was working as a IT recruiter.
Awesome. Okay, and your educational background, Sandhya?
Yeah, sorry. I have completed my BE in BTech in mechanical engineering.
Awesome. So what should we call you, Sandy or Sandhya?
And anything is fine.
Okay,
I'll be
awesome.
good. Thank
So
you.
generally, I tend to read what is written on the
I
screen
understand.
name.
I understand.
So I
Sure.
go
Thank
ahead
you
with
so much.
that. So thank you so much, Sandy. So everyone, you can please type in the chat window, welcome Sandy and welcome to Guru Schools, everyone. So I'm going to get started. Anyone other than Sandy who is for the first time, it's your day 1. All right. So my favorite question to you all, that do you remember for what very reason we all are here? What is the very reason? To get placed. Thank you so much for remembering this, because what happens in the 8 weeks of journey, this particular target and the end goal used to get faded away, and for that very reason we have something what we call it as a ground rules, or we call it as a code of honor that keeps us more and more focused, and that's why we have created something what we call it as a very tight code of honor that we require to revise every single day, so that we don't follow and we always remember this. So let's quickly revise this code of honor. The number 1 says that since Agile is full of ceremonies means meetings, and that demands you to show up live, remain on time, and remain punctual, and remain highly committed. Why do we do so? Because and here, why do we need to do that? Because consider this training itself as a project. Once you practice it here, you are anyway easily able to replicate that once you get placed. And it is also said that how you do anything is how you do everything. Yes. And number 2 says that because you are starting your journey as a student, kindly don't be just a student, but be the full stack student. It means that you are going to do all the assignments which are given. Assignments are 2 types: said and unsaid. Said assignments you have seen, few of you have seen, few of you are going to see very, very soon, where you are going to work in team as well. So said assignments where I'll be asking you to do some activity on certain day that you are going to do anyway. And unsaid assignments are always when you attain the session that you are supposed to summarize in a less than 90 seconds in a way that any 5 years old can understand. That should be your target, because that is going to retain not only in your mind but also in recruiter's mind, that how beautifully you summarize that. Summarize does not mean that you take your notes and you just go ahead and read like an anchor. Okay, it means that you have repeated so many times that you have installed well in your mind, and you can directly summarize it really by looking into camera lens, and that 90-second summary as in a form of video you are going to place into WhatsApp group. So, and whenever you are getting time, you're going to do self research and repeat whatever you learn. So that's the thing which says that you are going to be the full stack student. Having said so, the third one, while you are doing so and continuously, you are going to attract various things. You have seen many people have grabbed various certification. Few of you have gone advanced and done, paid training as well. That because you have followed certain thing, and it means that when you are taking full responsibility, you are attracting success. But at the same time, when you are ignoring, you are going to attract what? Failure. So when, and you need to take the responsibility of this as well. The moment you take the responsibility of failure too, there are chances you are going to correct that, and eventually that failure will become the trail to the success, and that failure does not remain the failure itself. The fourth one is very, very important to do so. It really require a correct mindset. I mean to say that this correct mindset, which is also one pillar of the agility, that demands you to be a lifelong learner, where you are advancing whatever you are executing, and that requires from a learning mindset individual. And to do so, you must have a positive mindset, then only you can head in that direction. And more positive you will go, you will find yourself going more complaint free. More complaint free you will go, you will find yourself loaded with more gratitude, and gratitude means that will increase your level of happiness. Is today's new productivity, that is demand of industry. And to do so, you must increase your receptivity in the day. And for that very reason, I give generally 30 days of challenge, where you need to listen to one audio program for 40 minutes, put it into 2x mode while you are doing exercise, jogging or running, and you will end up finishing this up within 20 minutes. And you will see that for consecutive 30 days, when you are doing your result towards every single activity in positive manner is going to get changed and going to get impacted so well that it is going to really make you more efficient. And if so to do this, in case you are losing any single day, you are supposed to restart from day one. And this audio program you can get after the session. Just ping me in case you don't have that. I'll share the link with you. And second, because we are now getting into deep learning, we need to follow certain quadrant, that we call it as a golden quadrant of learning, and then you are going to get into deep learning. So this is a process that demands you to start the deep learning with the declaration. And declaration is not alone declaration, a declaration with the anchor, and then get into deep learning. And just within 24 hours, draw whatever you have learned on a piece of paper using pen and paper, and then go ahead and summarize that, as I said earlier, in less than 90 seconds of 90 seconds of video, in a way that even 5 years old can understand. So how we are going to declare that? Declare means we are going to and why we need to declare that, you all know that your focus today goes for a span of not more than 5 seconds or 7 seconds. And for that very reason, your focus is just like a tall ship, and that wants to stand at the harbor, but without anchor, there are chances may get lost its direction throughout the night. Night is nothing but an ocean of thoughts. Focus may get lost, and for that very reason, we have anchor, what we call it as a bodily anchor. And bodily anchor is a body movement, and that's gonna be a self hi-fi or clap, and then repeat what is selected on the screen. So after me, you are going to read. After me, you are going to read. Once I read, you will go behind me and repeat whatever I'm going to speak after the anchor, that is the clap. So all of you are ready for the declaration, everyone. Say yes, unmute yourself.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of you, thank you so
Yes.
much. So at the count of three, we are going to clap. 1, 2, 3, and clap and repeat after me. I am a quick learner.
What others
I'm a
learn,
quick learner.
What others can learn and master,
Learn and
Others
master,
can learn
I
and
too can do
master.
that.
I too can do that.
I too can do
I
that.
too can do that.
One more time, you are going to just do this as clap or self high five and repeat after me. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and clap and repeat after me because I am an awesome
because
learner.
I'm an awesome
Because
learner.
I'm
I'm
an
an
awesome
awesome
learner.
learner. Today's learning is
Today's
gonna be
learning is
super
going to
duper
be
easy to me.
today's learning
His
is
learning
going
is
to
going
be
to be super duper
super
easy.
duper easy to me. Super duper easy to me. Thank you so much, everyone, for reading this out. Super duper easy to you because you said so. And remember, because many of you are coming in this learning after so many hours. After so many years. Someone of you with 5 years of industry experience, someone of you with 6 years, 13 years. It's a huge, right? So what you need to keep away, you need to keep your ego away, so you be the giver. When you keep your ego away on the path of learning, and that keeps you more spiritually grounded on the path of growth, so that your learning horizon goes up. And you know what, spiritually grounded means your happiness level goes up. It means that productivity level goes high. So that's what means by spiritually grounded. And while you do so, you will find yourself, after getting placed, you will start earning. In case you are today earning already, I'm sure you are trying to switch your career because you can earn more. And if you want to earn more, everyone, then you remember to have an intent of charity. What does it mean? It means that give away what you want to have more of. So you will give away your 5% or 10% of your earning, and you will see that when you give, you will grow, and when you receive, you may survive. And I'm sure you are not here for just for survival, but for the growth. And for the sake of this growth, just don't only start giving away, but also to inspire others, start giving away. And while you do so, remember to appreciate what do you do, what others are doing for you, and even what doesn't happen to you. So it is also said that what you appreciate appreciates you back. And quickly remember when we are going to get connected. And in case you are not speaking, everyone, you can go on mute. Okay. So Sunday is going to be your technical session. That is 9:30 p.m. EST. Monday is going to be your technical session one more time. That is on at 9:30 p.m. EST. And Tuesday, you need to attend RRP session parallelly. That is reference ready resume preparation, because for getting placed, you are going to make your profile or resume marketable, and that increases your visibility in front of RRP team. That makes your credibility and makes your marketability more stronger. On Wednesday, what you are going to do is going to submit your Sunday's assignment in WhatsApp group, and Thursday you are going to attend one more time RRP session. Again, why to repeat? Because more you appear in front of RRP team, it means that you are in need, and they will more hard work going to work for you for towards your placement, and you are going to win that. In case you lose that, it means you are not serious, you don't need that, and you know your marketability gets dropped. So make sure that you are going to show up for this RRP session every single time. Friday you are going to submit your assignment for Monday, and Saturday can be your breather day, that is a relaxation day, or you can utilize it to research by doing research, or repeat the session what you have attended, or assignment, do assignment in case anything is pending, or come up with the question if it is you are creating, and get your answer next day, that is on Sunday. So this is how you are going to remain connected every single day, barring Sunday and Monday, remaining days for 15 to 20 minutes, and that's all you are going to get started at the end. So is it clear, the entire code of honor and the connectivity day for all of you? Say yes if it is crystal clear with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
One person, two, three.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So someone has some question. You took my
this
name.
is Jyoti. I have a question.
Yes, Jyoti.
The RR sessions are, if I'm not mistaken, is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in these days.
No. RRP
I
sessions
just
are.
got the message.
You got this message?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I was confused.
Okay. Let me quickly. When did you get the message? This message?
Um, I think day before, yesterday only.
Okay, you got it in the group, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so let me check
So
that.
what are
And
we doing on the?
someone say something.
I can't believe it. Like,
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just look at it one more time, Jyoti, and we'll confirm you if it is there. Then, if there is
Sure.
some changes, going to inform you on. Okay,
Thank-
anyone apart from Jyoti have attended or seen this message about RRP session on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, everyone?
No.
Anyone? Not yet?
No, no, sir.
Okay, no problem.
No.
So Jyoti, just recheck one more time in case other people have not seen. So just
Excuse me,
please
sir.
check one more time.
Excuse me, sir. I guess Jyoti is talking about that counseling sessions
Career
because
counseling.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are
Okay.
counseling sessions.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Jyoti. So maybe you might have mistaken with that. So there are counseling session, open counseling session, not for enrolled candidate. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you might have seen that one. So no worries. So you can just go Tuesday, Thursday now. So okay. So let's get started. So Uma, do you have any question? You can unmute you and you can speak up, and then we are going to get started straight away. If not,
So no, this RRP sessions are like on Zoom or something, any particular time we have to attend it?
okay, so RRP session links are shared by your HR, okay, in the group, and that happens around 2 p.m. or 7 p.m. So generally, it is done by Devji himself. So yeah, that's a quick update, and it is never recorded. Okay, Uma?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let's get started, guys. And what we were discussing last time, if you all remember, and that we are going to relook one more time. And we were discussing about sprint planning is one of the ceremony in Agile. Okay. So what exactly happens? Product owner, he is very much clear with this. So Uma, you can lower your hand if you are done with your question. Otherwise, my attention goes there, and I intend to ask the question back to you. Okay, so product owner is the person who is responsible to have a crystal clear vision for the client for whom he is going to work, and with the help of business analyst, he develops requirement. Okay, and when he is very much clear with the requirement, what he does that the bulky requirement gets transferred into product backlog. It means that a very large requirement is now get broken into smaller requirement. Okay, all are with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then it is called as product backlog item when it is in front of us. What it is called, everyone?
Product backlog.
Product
Backlog. Backlog.
Okay, that's right. And what happens, product owner is, while planning the release, means what all are probable dates when they are going to ship these smaller requirement to the client. What exactly happens? They start hosting a meeting, to which we call it as a sprint backlog, planning meeting. What do we call it as, everyone?
Sprint planning.
But in sprint planning meeting, what happens? Do they discuss the entire backlog item?
No.
No, whatever the prioritize.
Yes, whatever is the highly prioritized items, they pull that in the sprint planning meeting, and that is the time these highly prioritized items are called as sprint backlog item.
Backlog.
Yes, what it is called as, everyone? Can you repeat that?
Sprint
What it is?
backlog
item.
Sprint backlog.
Backlog.
And this sprint backlog item is backlog item is discussed in the sprint planning meeting, and this sprint planning meeting is facilitated by Scrum Master.
Scrum
By
Master.
whom?
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master.
You make sure that entire team member is available, including product owner, development team. Including tester, business analyst, or architect, or solution architect, or whoever is the part of team. So developer, coder, in fact, everyone is available, and together they are called as a development team. And in case this sprint is generally a time duration, that how long and what time duration we are going to deliver one developed working software to our client. Okay, one working software, one piece of the working software to the client. Say, for example, if they decide they are going to work for the 4 weeks. And that is the maximum duration of the sprint planning meeting. What is the maximum duration of a, that's the maximum duration of sprint, any sprint. And what is the maximum duration, everyone?
4
For
weeks. 4 weeks.
4
4
weeks.
weeks.
And what is the minimum duration? What could be the minimum
1
duration
day.
of
1 day.
1
1
day?
day. Could
And
be 1
what is
day.
the ideal one? What is the moderate one?
2 weeks.
Yes,
weeks.
2 weeks,
4
10
weeks.
days.
2 weeks. So that is 10 days, absolutely
days.
right. It means 5 working days. Okay.
Yes.
So in case a sprint is of 4 weeks, then sprint planning meeting generally ends for 6 to 8 hours. That is around 1 working day. Okay. So in this sprint planning meeting, generally it is when it is getting started for the first time, it is also called as kickoff meeting, because in the sprint planning meeting, you are trying to kick off the entire project together. And sometime what happens, just before sprint planning meeting, you separately host a scrum master host a kickoff meeting. However, in nutshell, generally what exactly happens when you are in continuous sprint, you are just delivering after 4 weeks, after 4 weeks, after 4 weeks, considering 4 weeks is the duration decided by the project owner or product owner for one project. You will hold this first sprint planning meeting for almost 6 to 8 hours. So what exactly happened? This sprint planning meeting, when you decide what are the items you are going to choose and you give to your team to start working upon them, what exactly happened? Every single day start working for the defined sprint time, that is for 4 weeks or something, or 2 weeks or something. And every single day they meet for 15 minutes. For how many minutes, everyone?
15 minutes.
And
15 minutes.
they discuss 3 things: what was last state, what is next state, and
is next
any
thing, yes.
bottleneck or any hindrance they experience. Okay, only 3 times, and they are disbursed. Okay. And while this is happening, every single day they are discussing, then they are dispersing to their work, where they continue to analyze, design, and build. And one fine day, that is in the sprint review meeting, that gets hosted for 2 to 4 hours, depending upon the sprint duration of 4 weeks or 2 weeks. This is decided. For 2 weeks, it is going to be for 2 hours. For 4 weeks, it is going to be 4 hours, where customer herself is also available. So what is the specialty in sprint review meeting, everyone?
Customer also is there.
Customer is
Customer
available.
also available, and she receives the feedback, she receives the demonstration or review of the items on which your team has worked. Okay. And she gives the feedback whether she agrees to give it a go, or she wants some new changes, or new inclusion in that. Accordingly, action item changes. And if everything goes smooth, it gets shipped. Okay, it gets shipped, to which we call it as a deployment. What do we call it as? Deployment. And the moment it is done, then you come back here for the sprint retrospective, where team's internal feedback happens. And this meeting goes from 1 hour to 3 hours in a very very fun, in a light mood, so that you will have lot of experiences and learning that you can again include back in another sprint backlog meeting. Another sprint planning meeting. So is this process clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So Gayatri, I
Sir,
see
I
that
have a
you have,
question.
yes. Go ahead, Gayatri.
Yes. Yeah, I
Sir, in
have a
sprint
question.
review, you said if everything goes well, they will deliver the project.
Mhm.
But if the customer is not happy, they have some changes, how do they accommodate those changes, and how it will affect our next sprint?
Okay, thank you so much, Gayatri, for this amazing question. Yeah, so
Sir,
understand.
Hiteshi.
Yeah, so it's from Gayatri, right? Or Hiteshi?
Hiteshi.
Okay, Thank you so much, Hiteshi. So, Hitesh, whoever has raised the question, I give them opportunity and I call out their name. I think that they have spoken. So, yes, please raise your question. Gayatri, we are going to come to you, and that is time when I'll take your name. Kindly speak up. Yes, Hiteshi, coming back to your question. So, what exactly happens? Before the sprint gets over, okay, we hold this sprint review meeting, right, where customer is available. Customer gives small changes, okay. The degree of deviation could be 10 to 20%, not more than that, okay. And in this deviation, customer may say that, okay, we wanted this kind of change, that kind of change. So in sprint review meeting, the one person is also sitting who has created and analyzed the requirement and gathered the requirement. And who is that person?
Business
Business
analyst.
analyst.
Business analyst. Yes. So business analyst is more aware that if customer is demanding, is it beyond scope or inside the scope? Okay. Do you all agree? He will or she will know that. Business analyst will know that. Okay.
Yes.
And in
Yes.
case it is the demand is not meeting the requirement, what he will say then? What he will say?
It can be accommodated in the next sprint.
Yeah, so he may say various things. Okay, we will check whether it is inclusion in the requirement or not, and we are just going to take a note of it. So in case it is not in the inclusion, the email will float that this is the new requirement and we will have to work accordingly, and then product owner will step up and take the entire process towards the change management. Or in case there is no extra in case at all extra budget, extra resources involved, he will work in that direction, that how you can he can or she can include the resources or budget and these new requirement. In case it is an error which has not been found, Hitesh, you are with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and in case it is error which has not that is the deviation in the requirement and which has not been yet identified, we will make sure if it is critical, the team will address before the sprint gets over. That's number one. Number two is that in case it is not critical and it is still genuine difference, what team will do, will take a note of it and will say that we can address into the next sprint. Okay, we are not accommodating now because it is not critical or it is not of high priority. With me so far, Hiteshi, did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. So, sir, it will go in again in the product backlog or no?
Yeah, definitely. So again, when it will go in the product backlog, if it is into the next sprint, it will get into product backlog. Again, it will become the highest priority in the product backlog itself to be pulled inside the sprint planning meeting. To be pulled inside where?
Sprint planning.
Sprint planning meeting.
Sprint planning meeting. And in the next sprint planning meeting, it will be considered to put into the highest priority and take it over. And in case it is not, it is product owner who is going to get decide that when it is should pulled in which sprint it should be accommodated. Okay, Hiteshi?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Gayatri, quick question from your end.
Yeah, I just have one question. So, how does the sprint duration is determined? Is it from the product owner, or the whole Scrum team decides on the sprint
No,
duration?
so sprint is a sprint means the time duration of the delivery. Okay, the first piece of the requirement will get delivered. It is decided. Sprint means time duration is decided by product owner before we start the project in conversation with the client itself. Okay, and then
Okay.
product owner define the release plan. And when sprint is decided, so if a sprint is for 4 hours, then it is by default as a Scrum guideline, it is decided that sprint planning meeting should not go beyond 8 hours. For 4 weeks, it should not go beyond 8 hours. That is sprint planning meeting. If it is 2 weeks, it should not go beyond 4 hours. Is it clear?
Okay,
Yes.
and I'm not asking about the sprint planning duration. I'm asking about the whole sprint, whether it is a 2
Okay.
weeks or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Who
so it
will
is
decide?
decided by the
By-
product owner in conversation and in association with the customer and the sponsors and all. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So the whole team doesn't have any say on it, or do they have
No,
any
no,
say on
no, no, no. So team are informed about it, that how long the sprint is going to
Oh.
be. Okay.
Got
So you can lower your hand, Gayatri, and Ankita. What is your question? Ankita Surah.
Sir, I have a question on the testing acceptance criteria.
Mhm.
So after the testing, what happens if the testing acceptance criteria it fits? And I just want to be sure this is when we are talking about the UAT testing, is that right?
Yeah. So see, understand there are the testing phases. So testing starts from the day one, the moment requirement is in place. Okay. And what happens, means there are various types of testing, like you do when shipping the individual component, you will do component testing along with that. Okay. When
Okay.
you are combining two systems together, two components together, you make sure you are doing the system testing. When entire system is tested as a whole, it is also become the part of system integration testing. We will be talking more about it in later, just to answer your question. Then what exactly happen when the system integration testing happens combinedly from our side, from vendor side, as well as from the client's end. If the
Got it.
businesses are satisfied, they push it for the user acceptance testing, where the business user from the client end and some testers and business analysts go at the client's end, and they perform user acceptance testing, making sure the system is working at client's location as well. Okay, so your
Okay.
question is something different in this.
No, that's what my question was. Thank you.
Okay, Ankita, you're welcome. So that's a good question, everyone. And you, as a future business analyst or Scrum Master, a future Scrum Master, you should be well aware of this, what exactly goes behind that. So thank you so much, Ankita, for asking that question. So in a nutshell, if I need to put it into the diagram, if you have understood this well, did you all understand what exactly happens in the sprint planning? In the entire Scrum, actually, what happens, because I have taken 4-5 ceremonies name, that is 4-5 meetings. I talked about sprint planning meeting, but I also talked about sprint review meeting. While I talked about sprint review meeting, I also talked about daily stand-up meeting, that is called as daily Scrum meeting. I also called of one more meeting that we call it as a sprint retrospective meeting, from where we fetch some learning and try to include into the next sprint planning meeting. So when you will require to put it into diagram, that you can put like this, okay, where project vision is clear with the product owner, with the help of product owner, where release planning is there in the place, that is published by product owner. So release planning is done by whom, everyone? Product owner, where he publishes the release date. It means that on what date, what sort of product backlog will be out, or what sort of sprint backlog will be published or deployed for the at the client location. So first sprint planning takes place, then implementation happens. When implementation is happening, daily Scrum will take place. Okay, daily Scrum means 15 minutes of daily stand-up meeting, and while it is done, then we hold sprint review meeting, where who is available, everyone, in the sprint review meeting? The special person?
Everyone,
Customer.
including
Customer.
customers.
Customer.
Everyone along with the customer, stakeholder. And sponsors are optional. They can be invited, they can be available, but customer has to be there. Okay, and once the satisfaction is there, it gets deployed, it is shipped, and then sprint retrospective meeting happens, where internal team will be there and will be discussing what went wrong, what go well, and any learning they could have had, so that they would include that in the sprint planning meeting. So this particular things will continue to happen every single sprint, and that's the reason means what exactly happen in sprint planning meeting. You take some input from where, from product backlog, prioritize item, and you decide in the sprint planning meeting who will do, what will be done, and how it will be done, and your output is there in the sprint planning meeting. So if it is clear, I want someone to read this how part for me. Who can read that?
I will
I
do,
can
sir.
go.
Please go ahead.
The how. The development team plans the work necessary to deliver the sprint goal. Ultimately, the resulting sprint plan is a negotiation between the development team and product owner based on value and effort.
Yeah, thank you so much. So recently what I have done, I have shared with you all, and I think Aruna only reminded me to post about the velocity and capacities video, okay, that I had created. And one student, after learning that, what she did, she published her insight as well. So both the video I have published about velocity and capacity, it means that one person can one person's capacity in terms of hours against some user story. User story is the broken down requirement of the larger requirement. Okay, so in fact, what happens, every single requirement, when I am telling that a large piece of requirement is broken down into the smaller pieces. So initially, one big goal is broken down into the piece of requirement that is called as user story. What this is called as, everyone?
User story.
User
Yes,
story.
user story.
Stories.
So what exactly happened? So these user story are openly discussed in this sprint planning meeting, where you will understand and see, as a product owner, you want to do your job as quickly as possible. Is that right? Because we are going to fulfill customers' requirement. Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, product owner does not have idea that to fulfill some requirement or achieve some working or functional user story, what kind of estimate will go, and that gets discussed by developer, that how long they will take to make it functional, or tester, that how long they will require to perform a rigorous testing onto that, and by business analysts, so that it will be estimated from them how long they will take to put the complete functionality, the house part, into the place to the written mode, so that the functional clarity will be there with the developer, and sorry, excuse me, with the developer as well as with the tester. So in fact, in this, what exactly is discussed, that how long they will take. Okay, so estimate for the sometime what happens, if they are very much clear and they are not clear, so there is a separate meeting of generally it is not part of the sprint planning meeting, but we make sure if it is not large requirement, we quickly get the estimate from the the scrum team, that's the development team. If it is a larger requirement and is not able to be broken into more thinnest and smallest user story, then we separately discuss it in a different estimation technique meeting. There are various estimation technique that you are going to learn, that what all are they. So for one, I'm taking the name, for example, one meeting is called as a planning poker meeting. It's a kind of estimation technique where we take estimation from everyone. It is only launched separately when the effort or say user story is bit larger and it does not have the clarity. It is not thinnest and the smallest user story, then only this such estimation technique or planning meeting happens, where how is discussed that how long they are going to take. So is it clear to everyone about this how part?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And
Yes,
product owner may ask, okay, take some lower time. Then with the engagement, they will have the insight, okay, we'll have to add some additional resource or something, because they have the release schedule already in the place. Okay, more clarity on this? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I want someone to read the first bullet of the who.
I can
The
read
who.
it.
Okay, please go ahead.
You cannot do sprint planning without the product owner or the development team.
Yes, because product owner has the vision, has the goal, he knows that, and development team are going to work on that. So if both don't come together, if captain is not there in the ship, who will navigate to the ship, and the sailor is not there, say for example, who will sail the ship? I mean, who will drive the entire show. That's the reason both have to be mutually available together, and they discuss that who will do what piece of the requirement fulfillment job. Okay, I want someone to read the second bullet point as well, please.
I will.
Yeah, please go ahead. Answer.
The product owner defines the goal based on the value that they seek. The development team needs to understand how they can or cannot deliver the goal. If either is missing from the event, it makes planning the sprint
almost impossible, right?
Almost impossible.
Yeah. So it is quite self-explanatory the way Miss Sol read it. Yes. So as I said just earlier in the first bullet, in the who part. So if goal is there, okay, he can product owner can guide to the entire team. Okay, and development team tries to fulfill the value, and value is driven from the goal itself. Okay, and the value is important for whom? For the customer. Okay, and if that goal is missing at all, and you cannot add a value into the goal, into the actually find piece. Find piece means the actually on the working software you are going to work. So if goal is missing, as I said earlier, goal is missing, or the value is missing, so either of the thing is missing, you cannot meet the sprint goal itself, this output itself. Okay, so it says also if either is missing from the event, it makes planning the sprint almost impossible. So sprint planning meeting will not be successful if you are not aware of the goal, what you are going to achieve, and who is going to work on that. If both are missing, the sprint planning, there is no meaning behind the sprint planning meeting. So what exactly you need to know further? You need to know what all the input you require. So I want someone else who have not yet read, kindly read the first bullet.
A great starting point for the sprint plan is the product backlog, as it provides a list of stuff that could potentially be part of the current sprint. The team should also look at the existing work done in the increment and have a view of capacity.
Right. So now I would like to give you one very good example, and that is just popping up in my head. So how many of you have gone to the okay, how many of you have gone in a trip through your school ever?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
only one
Yes.
person.
Yes. No. Yes.
Okay, no. So you have never gone to any trip through your school yet? Okay, since your childhood? Okay, so anyone here who has not gone to a trip from your childhood, since your childhood, into the school trip? Okay, the silence says everyone has gone. So I took it. So what exactly happens? Do you remember that when you are asked to sit inside the bus? Okay, when you are asked to sit inside the bus, because you need to travel from location A to location B, you need to travel certain distance. But in that to get inside the bus, you are asked to get inside a queue. You remember that?
Yes.
But
Yes.
in queue, two things happen. Either randomly you go and form a queue and try to get inside. That is the one possibility. Okay, and you see that these kids, sometimes these kids fight that I need to come in the front row, I need to come in the first in the queue, and they fight with each other. Imagine the product backlog items are fighting with each other and say that, hey, in the sprint planning meeting, you take me first. But there are certain rules. Okay, and certain rules says that based on the highest priority, I'm going to stack you and pull inside the sprint planning meeting. It means that as per rule, whatever customer wants, we are going to pull that only. And sometimes the rule could be, hey, you form a queue in alphabetical order. That's number one. The second rule is that form a queue in the as per your roll number. The third is that form a queue as per your height. So these are the three different methods using that you will be taken inside the sprint planning meeting. So or based on your commander, or based on your leader, you are put inside the bus in the stack of 3 or 4. First 4 people get inside, or the next 4 people get inside. So there are the various methods. Okay, so likewise, so are you able to relate with this example exactly how these kids are
Yes.
getting inside the bus?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
likewise, everyone wants to get inside the sprint planning meeting, but we will choose only of the highest priority because we know the rule. Okay, who know the rule? Product owners know the rule. Okay, so there we discuss about the input. I want someone, so what exactly happened? The product owner decide which are the of the highest potentiality need to be worked and should be out in the current sprint. So those only backlog item will be discussed inside the sprint, and that will become the sprint backlog, and that will become the input. Input to be processed inside the sprint planning meeting. Then what become the output? So I want someone else to read now who has not yet to read the output part, this bullet. Who can read that?
I can read.
Please go ahead.
The outputs. The most important outcome for the sprint planning meeting is that the team can describe the goal of the sprint and how they will start working toward that goal. This is made visible in the sprint backlog.
Yeah, thank you so much. So what exactly happened, guys? In this output, it's not only just product owner come and he becomes a dictator and he says that, okay, this is the goal, and you are going to achieve that. In fact, because this is the ceremony, what it is called as? Ceremony. And in this, it is not going to be just monologue. You are going to cross verify also. You are going to visualize the larger picture of the delivery as well. And what you are going to do that if you are not going to understand the goal, you are going to cross verify by doing what? How you will cross verify anything? How will you be certain of anything? What you will do for that?
Testing by
Reiterate it,
testing.
Testing, match with the desired output.
Okay,
Ask
so in
question.
sprint planning meeting, if some of you are not certain of something, okay, what do you do?
Review.
Ask
Check with product owner.
Someone
check with-
check with what?
Product owner.
Product owner.
And how would you check that?
Ask question.
Ask
Reiterate
question.
it
That's
back.
a brilliant. Who
Yes.
said that? Who said that? Ask question.
Pallavi.
That's a brilliant one. So let's give a round of applause to Pallavi as well. Yes, that's going to be asking question. And you need to know that how you are going to ask question. And for that, if you are listening properly, then only you can ask the right question. And this is the most missing part in the entire life. In fact, we don't even ask. But in the sprint planning meeting, you are going to reach of what is going to be the goal by asking question. And it is really mandatory, my dear future business analyst or scrum master. You should master the art of asking question. And if you can master it now, my dear friends, what is going to happen? You can master that your placement as well. So this is one of the art I have just now shared with you. And having said so, how does it look like? Sprint planning meeting, it will look like this. Okay, so this is one of the board, and this board I had shared with you when I was sharing you the various framework. Okay, various framework to achieve one milestone through one methodology. So one milestone is, for example, is reaching to the top floor of a building. And that milestone can be achieved by following certain framework, and one of the framework was Kanban. Okay, in the Kanban you just follow the Kanban board where these are the small pieces of the requirement. You see someone are marked as checked, it means these are done. Okay, and they move from left to right. How do they move that? First they are into to do, then they gets into in progress, then they gets into testing phase, and then they are marked as done. This is how they are going to move. So first they are all available in the product backlog item. Few are pulled, discussed into the sprint planning meeting, and when sprint goal is clear, it gets achieved. So that's what it denotes. And let's take a more deep dive into that. I want someone to read about the Scrum sprint, the first bullet. Who can read this? Who can read this?
I can go.
I'll go.
Please go ahead.
Scrum Sprint is a repeatable fixed time box during which a done product of the highest possible value is created. Sprint lies at the core of the sprint agile methodology and can be thought of as an event which wraps all other Scrum events like the daily Scrums, Scrum review, and sprint retrospective.
Yeah, now we are looking at the Scrum Sprint, okay? And we will be also looking at how to make it as done. Why we need to make it as done? Because in the certain time, once you make a few items as a done, okay, that gets ready to deliver towards get delivered towards client, because client is demanding that, okay? And done itself, making things done itself is a kind of event as well, and that undergoes various event, okay? The event like sprint review, event like daily Scrum, event like sprint planning as well. And once it is done, it gets delivered too, and after it is marked done and gets delivered, then you hold the sprint retrospective meeting. We are going to get more detail about every single meeting. So far we have touched sprint planning and sprint almost sprint daily Scrum meeting, or say daily stand-up meeting. So let's read this one. Who can read this second bullet?
I'll go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sprint is one time box iteration of a continuous development cycle. Within a sprint, planned amount of work has to be done, completed by the team, and made ready for the view. Scrum projects are broken down into small and consistent time intervals, referred to as sprints. They can be as short as a few days and generally are no longer than 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I have said that it will be as lower than as 1 day, as maximum than as 4 weeks. That's the sprint is gonna be. And as it is a continuous development, it does not get finished just within a one sprint. Okay, there are multiple sprint, and because they are multiple sprint, the process gets repeated. Process gets what, everyone?
Repeated.
And that's the reason it is also called as iteration. What it is called as?
Iteration.
Yes. So and this iteration is always time box. Time box means what?
In a fixed duration of time.
Fixed time. Yes.
Duration of time.
Yes, it's a fixed time. So let's move further and understand more about it. So who can read this?
Gaurav sir, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you please go back one slide and explain the first point? So what's the difference between Scrum Sprint and then just the sprint? Are both these the same thing?
Both are the same thing. Okay. We have been discussing about the sprint and when it becomes the part of the Scrum. So how it goes. So it's not just a single sprint we are discussing. We are discussing Scrum Sprint. It means there are multiple sprints we are going to follow. And when multiple sprints are getting repeated, the same process, that is the time we have to make sure that every sprint, inside every sprint, everything is marked as done. And when the same things we are doing, it is every sprint is called as a iterative sprint. Okay, and that's the reason we chose this title as a Scrum Sprint. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So let's move further and discuss this paragraph. Who can read this?
I'll go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
During a sprint, there is a development team that comprises of cross-functional members who are capable of achieving the sprint goals. This could include software engineers, architects, programmers, analysts, system admins, quality analysts, experts, testers, and UI design, etc. Thank you.
Thank you so much for reading this out. So can I ask you one question to all of you, that cross-functional team will consist of who all?
Everyone who are included in the project.
Yeah.
Who work on the project.
Development team, tester.
Development team.
In fact, you just now
Those who are
read it.
directly and indirectly involved.
Yeah. So in fact, you have read them all. Okay. A software engineer, architects, programmers, analysts, system admin, Q expert, tester, UI designer, etc. These all are called together as a cross-functional team. So they all are available during the sprint planning meeting. Okay, and they all have to be there because these are the people together they achieve the goal. Okay, and
Yeah.
and everyone has to contribute. Even sometime you will find the architects who are not more or less shout out because they achieve to they are the person who integrates two platform together. Okay, so generally we talk about the these people like cross functional team. You won't see that architects because these architects are not more spoken when it is taught about the team and all, but you need to remember these are also part of the cross functional team. We will look more detail and more in detail about the cross functional team in the coming slides, but you need to understand what exactly happens just before the sprint. So I want someone to read this first bullet over here. Who can read that?
I'll go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
There is a sprint planning meeting. The length of the sprint planning meeting is proportional to the length of the sprint.
Thank you so much. I have just now touched with this. If it is for 8 weeks, 4 weeks, it is going for 8 hours. If it is going to be for the 4 weeks, sprint is going to be for 2 weeks, it is going to be for 4 hours. Is it clear? This is how it is proportional, the sprint planning meeting. Okay, so anyone who has not yet read that, because I want 100% involvement. I want what, everyone?
100%.
100% involvement.
But this is not 100% involvement. I want what percentage of involvement, everyone?
100%.
And for that, you all
100%.
need to unmute yourself and speak up. And that's right. So who can read this second who have not yet read that? Okay, Gunjan, please go ahead and read this. Yeah, second one.
The second, right? A 4-week sprint should be planned is no more than 8 hours. A 1-week sprint should be planned in no more than 2 hours.
2 hours. That's very much clear because I gave you example of already that if it is going to be 8 weeks for 4 hours, if it is going to be for if it is going to be for 4 weeks, it is going to be for 8 hours. If it is going to be for 2 weeks, it is going to be for 4 hours. And if it is going to be for 1 week, it is going to be for 2 hours. It's a self-explanatory. So who can read this, the last bullet, please?
I can go.
Go ahead, please read this.
This meeting determines what the goals are for that sprint. Based on the team velocity, a set of features are pulled from the top of the product backlog to the sprint backlog for the coming sprint.
Okay, so every time goal has to be crystal clear. Okay, and because goal is clear, because team's availability is clear, because who can perform, when we are clear about the team's unavailability also, what is going to happen, we are going to decide the capacity, how long they can work against one user story or something like that, so that what will happen together, we are very much ready that from product backlog item, how can pull some requirement into the sprint backlog and in the coming sprint if we can deliver that. And for that very reason, you need to be on your toes about understanding their assessment, estimation, and their contribution against one user story or against one working item. Okay, so this is what it says. So having said so, I want you to look at something which is very, very important. By the way, any question around these bullets? And velocity, something in detail about the velocity, I'm going to reshare today again. Okay, so I have a separate 20 minutes of video. I don't want to utilize those 20 minutes one more time. So I want to in fact utilize the more time to tell more you about something extra. So that's the reason you need to watch that velocity video. Okay, so let me quickly go ahead. Yeah. So now what happens, you look at it here. Okay, so this is I was talking about user story, right? Do you remember that? So
Yes.
Product backlog is converted into the smaller user story, and at the end, what is going to happen? It has to be eventually turned into task. Turned into what?
Task.
Task. So when it gets turned into task in the sprint planning meeting, where every single person knows that what they have to work upon. Are you all clear on this?
Yes.
Yes. So now understand during the sprint what happens. So I want one volunteer to read this one bullet, please.
No features are added
Mhm.
and the sprint goals don't change. The only exceptions to this is if the team finishes a sprint early.
Okay, so this is most asked question by the students, by all of you, that what exactly happened when client says that I want these change, that change, include that, or what client approaches a developer directly and say, hey, please you do that. So as per this first bullet, what should that person do, developer? Should he add the change shared or proposed or expected or endorsed by the customer? Should he go ahead even if
No.
it is small? Will he do that?
No.
No. He won't do that because it says clearly no features are added and the sprint goals don't change. Okay, the only exception to this, if the team finishes the sprint early and they have the time, they can, with the agreement of whom, can do that change if it is smallest, with the agreement of exactly, you said it right. No, with the agreement of product owner, not the customer. Customer will get agree upon anything. He wants you to do, bring moons and stars. Okay, he will lure you to do anything in favor. Ultimately, you also are going to get some, money, and that comes with the approval of the budget through product owner. It flows. Okay, and you also need money, right? So ultimate reality is that everyone needs money, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are working for that. So let's go ahead and listen to this second bullet. Who can read this?
I can go.
Please go ahead.
Daily stand up in a sprint. The daily scrum, which is also known as a daily stand up or daily scrum, during which team members synchronizes effort.
Please read the second one also.
Sure. Daily scrums enable team members to ensure the right things are being worked on by the right people at the right time.
Exactly. So daily scrum, also known as daily stand-up meeting. So everyone comes together, and in this meeting, product owner is optional. Product owner is what, everyone, in this meeting?
Optional.
He may or she may choose to not to join. Okay, and we are not going to force. But who are mandatory? Of course, Scrum Master is going to be mandatorily be available or not?
Yes.
Yes, because he is the one who is the show manager, who is who is going to organize, who is going to facilitate, and in his presence he is going to take a note of few things that we are going to look at very, very soon. But before that, I want someone to read this first bullet. Who can read that?
I can read it out.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, every morning of the sprint, the project team gets together for a short daily stand-up meeting under 15 minutes. This meeting takes place at the same time every day and includes everyone on the project. Everyone stands up for the meeting to keep everyone focused and to keep the meeting short. Often a timer is set so that the meeting does not run long.
Yes, thank you so much for reading this out. So be very much clear. This small event should not go beyond 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay. And it should be, as the name suggests, it's a stand-up meeting. Literally everyone are supposed to stand up on their feet, close in a room, if they are available face to face, and they will discuss 3 items. Okay. What did I do yesterday to help achieve the sprint goal? Okay. The second item, they will say, what will I do today to achieve the sprint goal? Can you see the second item all?
Yes. Yes.
And they will also say what, if anything, is impeding or blocking progress toward the sprint goal. So what will happen if someone say, hey, I'm not getting the well-written document and the clarity from the business analyst? Okay. What Scrum Master is going to tell them?
He's gonna set up the meeting and he's gonna connect with the business analyst to get the more information.
That's right, Gunjan. That's right. So he will set up another meeting and it won't be prolonged and discussed in this stand-up meeting. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Now the teams are distributed remotely. Not everyone is available face to face to stand up on their feet and to discuss for 15 minutes. So in remote availability in the stand-up meeting, what will make the stand-up? Who can answer that?
Video conferencing.
That's right, Priyanka. You just nailed it. Yes. So what is going to happen if you can't stand up? You still are available remotely. What you are going to do is that you are going to switch on your video and be available and face your team member. So is it clear to everyone? If it is remote,
Yes.
you need to
Yes.
switch on
Yeah.
your video.
Yes.
So let's
Sir, one
yes,
question.
yes, please.
Sir, if in case for any XYZ reason Scrum Master is not available for the Scrum meeting for a daily stand-up, so who will hold that meeting on his behalf?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. So what exactly happen? Generally means if a Scrum Master is not available, product owner knows that. Okay, so he himself would be available that time. Or it is the smaller project where there are several teamlets. Okay, so in there if certain teamlets are there, generally from the developers end, those are dev leads. But this eventually does not make the scrum as a scrum meeting. I mean, it does not really make sense. So in his unavailability, scrum master always makes sure that he has given the responsibility to someone. But in case product owner is well aware, he will make this show run. Yes, Gunjan, you have another question?
Yes, speaking of that question, what if the product owner, let's say POC, let's say not available, what they gonna do if there's a sprint planning?
Okay, so are you talking about sprint planning meeting or daily scrum meeting?
Yes, sprint planning meeting.
Okay, so in the sprint planning meeting, product owner has to be there. Okay, so he cannot be barred. So in such situation, I mean, all of a sudden it happens, it may generally get consulted and it can be rescheduled. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hitesh, you wanted to say something?
Yes, so one more question. There's
Yeah.
a one slide in which we saw release planning. So
Mhm.
release planning is also a time box?
Also type of what?
Time box.
Time box.
Yeah, release planning will also be time box and it is done well before the sprint starts. Okay, so that product owner has to do that, and he is guided before the project starts, and generally he has to report about these all activity to PMO. Okay, Hiteshi?
So who hold this release meeting? Like who all are available in the release meeting?
In the sprint planning meeting or release
The
meeting?
release planning.
See, the release is first well planned, it's documented. Okay, so if you are mistaking this as there is a different release planning meeting has to be held, so understand in presence of PMO and in presence of customer, first it is asked that when exactly he is expecting on what date different releases, because what you are going to do is that you are going to prioritize every single item what is available as a part of requirement which has come from the customer. Okay, so always in presence of customer, at the high level, first release dates are declared, but actual planning goes offline and is done by the product owner and again published back for customer to approve that. So first, what happens in the first step, you take the input from customer, right, when he is expecting and what he is expecting, then you work ahead, work with sometime with the business analyst and get agreed that these are the product backlog item you have prioritized already and that you are going to discuss. So again, this is not something which is mandatory that product owner has to sit with business analyst. As I said that this will go offline and the document has to be given by the product owner to the customer so that customer can approve that once they design. So first they will tell it verbally, okay, in the meeting that we want on this date, and sometime what may happen, if they have some presentation, they will present that when they are expecting what, why they are expecting something on these date, and those things has to be noted down by the product owner, and then they will publish the release plan document. Is it clear more to you, Hiteshi?
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, you're welcome. So let's move further and discuss this now. So I want someone to read the first bullet, please.
I have a question, Gaurav sir.
Yeah, Raksha.
So in the previous slide, during the stand-up meeting, if any of the days, if the Scrum Master is unable to attend, then it was what I understood is that the product owner will be there.
Yeah, product owner will be there.
So what if in case in the week of sprint planning, during that particular meeting, the Scrum Master is unable to work that during that particular day or anything?
So you are making me confused now. Are you talking about sprint planning or daily stand-up meeting?
And now the second question is about sprint planning.
So in sprint planning meeting, you say that what if the Scrum Master is not available?
Yes.
So he gives someone responsibility, right? If he is not available, will he know or not?
For the meeting that
He will know
Yes,
that he is not available.
he will know. Probably he will know. Yes.
So he may request someone, right, to take his place. But in case he is not knowing, something happens. This is a very hypothetical situation. Something happens, no one is there, then product owner is there. Okay. Product owner can grant the responsibility to someone to act for the day in absence of this Scrum Master. But in case he is not available, Scrum Master, he knows he is not available, so he transfer his responsibility for that period to someone else. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let's move further, and I want someone to read this first bullet. Who can read that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go.
These three questions allow for complete transparency. Everyone on the team is in the loop, and the answers make people accountable for what they say they will deliver.
Exactly. And you are always on top of that who is working what. And every team member is now knowing that someone is working on something. And when they will discuss that I worked on this, I am going to work on this, they will know that if someone else's responsibility is depending upon some item, they have to also speed up their work. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want someone to read the second bullet. Who can read that? Manu, go ahead.
The result of this meeting are typically shared with the client.
Okay, please read the third one as well.
These daily communication make sure that if something is holding up the team, they can get a response quickly.
Yes. So so daily stand-up is happening. Eventually, Scrum Master will take a note of that. What is the progress? And this has to be communicated to customer as well, so that customer is on top of that in case some risk is being highlighted or what, or it has to be mitigated if customer has to respond onto that. So that's the very reason every single time it is shared with the customer. So when it is shared, what exactly they discuss this. Okay, this is what I have done since we last met. So I'm forming a different way. How do you work when you work in a sprint as a development team or Scrum team member? So this is how you are going to speak up. This is what I plan to do today, and these are the obstacles I have encountered, and these have to be informed to whom? These have to be informed to whom? You tell me.
To the product owner.
To Scrum Master. Okay. And everyone, once it is informed to Scrum Master, everyone will be top of it, right? Do you all agree with me, everyone?
Yeah. Yes.
I want to ask me question. I want you to ask me question if you have any questions so far.
I have a question, Gaurav sir.
Yes, Anisha, please ask.
We talk about so many meetings today, like
Mhm.
sprint planning meeting,
That's right.
Scrum meeting, and Scrum sprint, and so many I would say sub meetings, right? So, I'm just getting confused. What is Scrum meeting means? Like,
Okay.
it's gonna be like something separate meeting than sprint
So,
planning
so as I
or daily
said,
stand up?
yes, as I said, as a Scrum meeting is daily Scrum meeting, which is also called as a daily stand-up meeting. So
Okay.
Scrum meeting and daily stand-up meeting both are the same. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any other question, guys?
I have just one question.
Yeah, please ask Yakshi.
When the tasks are decided, like the requirements are prioritized in the sprint planning, and all the developers or testers assign what they need to do, then
Mm-hmm.
what does that time BA do? Like when everything is decided on that sprint, like on that 2 weeks, the everything is decided, what does then BA do at that time?
Okay,
Like the
that's
requirements gather requires are already gathered.
Mhm. So that's a great question. So what exactly happens? BAs are assigned with some other activity. Okay. First of all, they have to make sure that clarity is going well, and still they need to add some more details into from the documentation to the sprint. So what exactly happens? See, requirement has been gathered, but it has not been transferred under the user story. User stories are generally one-liner statements, okay? But more detail have to go inside it, okay? More details like a documentation, more details like a integration, means when it is going to get started, when this function will trigger, and after this function, what will happen. So more details will get inside. So he will make sure he is going to furnish the analysis and design against the user story. Generally, it is pending. But while this is happening, what is going to happen? So whatever requirement is getting clearer, that goes to tester. Tester will start writing the test cases against that, and he may ask more question against the user story. Will assign back the user story into the requirement management tool, or call it as a ticket management tool. At the same time, developers will develop some design and design as in UI based on the user story available. The moment one is ready, say for example, everything gets ready and we have sufficient time, what he can do? He can do is that he has the visibility on the priority item, priority task. He knows what is going to come next. In the consultation with the product owner, what he will do, he will start working on the next prioritized item, which is going to be discussed inside the next sprint planning meeting. Okay, Yakshi? Got it? Yeah. So it's a detailed answer for you. So we have discussed so far sprint planning meeting. We have discussed so far Scrum team meeting. I mean daily Scrum meeting. And now we want.
I
Yeah.
have one question. Sorry.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Anand.
Yeah. There are so many meetings happening around that, right?
Yeah.
So is all the meetings are I mean, who schedules the meeting? It's all everything is scheduled by the Scrum Master,
Yes,
or
that's
is
right.
there any?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Everything is
one more.
scheduled and organized by Scrum Master. And
Scrum
what?
Master. And one more question. There are multiple artifacts like um, product backlogs, sprint backlogs, and everything, right? So, who owns it and who updates it? The product backlog is updated and owned by the product owner. And what about the sprint backlog? Which who will update it and who owns it?
See, when product backlog items are designed or already available by the product owner, then sprint backlog item, the same backlog item is pulled inside the sprint backlog. Only when it is discussed, it becomes the priority item, and more addition is done in those backlog item by business analyst, and Scrum Master makes sure whatever the missing items are, any missing items are there, those backlog items are assigned to those people. Say for example, now let me do some activity for you. So wait a second. So good question. Let me answer the question. Say for example, and excuse me for my drawing, I'm just attempting a drawing. Okay. So what exactly happens? So this is your product backlog item. Okay. Agree, this is your product backlog item. So PBI1. Okay. This is your product backlog item. And this is one line statement. This is one line statement. Okay. In sprint planning meeting, it is taken. Okay. In the sprint planning meeting, it is taken. Okay. And what exactly happens? Just give me a second. Yeah, I'm back. So what exactly happened? Now it is discussed inside the sprint planning meeting. Okay. So what happens in the sprint planning meeting? This PBI, okay, this PBI is brought again and said that business analyst will add more details. Okay. Now what happens? He adds some more details. Say, for example, this. These are the details.
You
After this,
details as in the task for each
no.
backlog.
Details as in its trigger point. Okay, as output. Okay, what all the designs are available related to that. So those details are added. I mean, this is one-liner statement. Okay.
Got it.
Initially, product backlog item are one-liner statement. Do you think one-liner statement will be understood by each and every team member?
No.
No.
No. So more details who can add, who has the more clarity on the requirement. Do you agree? Yeah.
Yes.
And who will have the more clarity? Because in the requirement gathering, who was sitting? Business analyst is going to add that. Right. So what exactly happened? One more time. So this product backlog item is now clarified and discussed in the sprint planning meeting so that people will give more details based on, because he has explained, product owner has explained, and more detail comes from business analyst. What happens? They further look for it, and when they will look for it, team member will look for it. And where they will look for it? Inside the ticket itself. Okay. And what exactly happened related to A and D? What happened related to A and D, everyone? That is analysis and design. Wait a second. Yeah. Related to analysis and design, he will create a task out of this user story. Okay. Who? Scrum Master. Okay. Create a task out of user story and assign this to a DA. So his role is clear that he has to do what? A and D. He has to elaborate it. Okay. So if A and D is clear, there will be another task. Okay. There will be another task, and that task will be for developer. Okay. So same user story. Now another task will be assigned to whom? Developer, for the coding purpose. Okay. Task for coder. Okay. For design, not design, for coding. Okay. Make it more functional. And there will be another task for tester as well. Okay. So there will be another task, same user story. Okay. Now this user story becomes the parent, and task becomes what? Child. Okay. Inside that, you are going
So
to
these
see
things
that.
will be done.
Yeah.
Okay. These
So
things will be done either in a Jira or any other tool,
exactly, that's right.
Okay.
So here the Scrum Master again comes and say that everyone has got their task done, a task in their plate, and here it goes. What? For tester. Okay, task. So there are multiple tasks for all the team member. Okay, tester, and they do testing activity. And inside testing activity, now it's test manager role or test lead role, that he will divide these tasks into multiple activity. It could be, test case creation or test case execution or whatever it would be. Okay, it's clear. So if in case, say for example, inside there is a solution architect, he has to develop one design document. Okay, if analysis and design is done by business analyst, and he is indicating that there is an integration, and understand it well, there is an integration and there is a communication happening between two layers of say for example, I'm giving you one example. How many of you have ever booked a ticket for a flight?
Yeah, I do.
I have.
Almost everyone, right? So what happens when you start typing something, say for example, you have to travel from Chicago to Denver, okay? So when you just start typing in, you will see that things are automatically populating. Okay, things are automatically populating, and the moment you type ch, there will be all the names starting with ch will be populated. The moment you will type in den, all the names starting with dn will be populated inside a list. Okay,
Sure.
have you ever seen?
Yes.
Yeah. So what happens? The system is calling all those detail from database or from API. Okay. It is called as API. Okay. You with the help of API. Okay. So while this is happening, okay, there is a two-way communication happening. So these architects are designed by solution architect or technical architect. So even they should know such things are there, because ultimately a coder will design something, it has to work, and together it has to be tested by tester. Okay, so it's entirely a teamwork, and that's why against one product backlog item, multiple tasks will be generated and assigned to the responsible team member. Is it does it give more clarity to you all what exactly happens
Yes.
inside the scene, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes.
let me see what exactly I quickly go ahead and grab for you. And that is here. So we have discussed so far sprint planning meeting, daily scrum meeting, to which we call it as a daily stand-up meeting as well. What we should do now. So what is remaining? Sprint review and retrospective. I see again there are some hands raised. So Varsha, you have any question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please ask.
Sir, so far I understand product backlog item, and I understand task. So what I'm not able to figure out is, as a BA, when do I get to describe the functionality? Like FRD, or some clients prefer prototypes or UML diagrams. So when do we actually get to do that? After when we are assigned task by Scrum Master?
Okay,
I'm
that's
just
a good
confused.
question. So what is going to happen after a week? We will be transitioning into business analysis of focus learning. Okay, so that time I'm going to answer that. So is it okay if I can answer, so that
No,
rest of all won't get confused? Yeah.
no problem, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Any
Same
other
question
question?
related to that. So can we say the product backlog is same as that BRD, like high level
Not
business?
exactly, not exactly. Product
Oh.
backlog is not the BRD. Okay, so see, understand, eventually what will happen, I'll just give you a hack. Earlier, everything was just getting documented. Okay, now we don't need a bulky document. Why we don't need that? Because we have the tools available in the place, and we translate every bulky document into the smaller task. That is the end goal which has to be achieved. Because it's okay to talk about the goal, but goal has to have the action item associated with that. So if you are able to transfer that, that's the reason, now product backlog is there. Earlier we used to have business analysts used to also develop use case diagram, use case document. Okay, now these are out of the out of the tradition, and has taken the place of tickets. And you will find user story tickets. These are just a small liner. How to do that and when it happens, those all explanation will go when I'll talk about the business analysis track. Okay, as it is agile scrum BA, even if you'll see, first we are just touch basing about related to all activity related to scrum master, and then we'll go towards the business analyst in the week 4. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, any other question? Manu has some question.
Yeah. So my question is that, like, if developer is making any code, when they create the code, they give that code to the testing team, then deployment, and who synchronize in between them? They report to the Scrum Master, then Scrum Master give them another task, or they synchronize themselves in between the department.
Okay, so you will have to ask this question again. I sense there are multiple questions. So what is the exact question you want to ask?
Like if we have any software to make, so coder make the code for that. Then the build team will build that, then the test team. So who will synchronize in between them? The Scrum Master, then who will assign the task to them?
What synchronize?
Like if coder make the code, then tester team will test that code, the QA team.
So can I
So
Hang
my
on.
question,
Okay,
yeah,
hang on
my
now.
question,
Hang on
yeah.
now. Hold your question. So someone was telling something. So who was that?
I'm just saying I can answer like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the
Go ahead,
sprint
Yakshi.
planning, we have the task over there. We mentioned what who needs to do one. So the coder gets the information like what he need to code, and after then if the coding is done, the tester will do the testing. If I'm not wrong, sir,
Okay,
right?
let me add something because I have asked Manu to hold. So Manu just now said that if coder does coding and then tester does testing, and who
Yes.
synchronizes? Okay, so your question lies over here because the moment you develop a piece of code and develop a piece of software, it doesn't happen immediately. It does not get immediately tested, or just it does not happen that tester will come and test it. What will happen behind the scene? Tell me, man. What should happen?
Yeah, my question is that like Scrum Master assign them task, or like I know about the DevOps that this thing will go into the continuous process. But my question is that like who will give them task if the coder is saying I'm done with that code now, then who will assign the next task to them?
Okay, so
Development team assign the task to themselves. Scrum Master never come and say, okay, now you're going to do this or that. This is as per the Scrum guide. They assign the task to themselves.
yeah, and it has been discussed. It has been discussed when in the sprint planning meeting.
In the sprint planning meeting, yes.
So in the sprint planning meeting, they take what? They take the ownership and they self-claim that I'll be working on it. Okay.
Yes.
So when they say I'll be working on it, then and there, in case it is not assigned to anyone, Scrum Master is in charge of everything. He will make sure that Manu had told that she will be working on the module as a fund transfer coding, whether she has taken this piece on her name or not, the associated task on her name or not. In case not, let's assign that to Manu. Okay, so he will remain vigilant on the top of everything. Okay, he makes sure even though you are committing, even though you are taking ownership, whether you are in reality following it or not, that Scrum rules that is done and made sure by the Scrum Master himself. Okay.
Okay, yeah, get it. Thank
More
you.
clarity. And thank you all
Yes.
who involved in asking question and answering question with me. Thank you so much. So let's move to Aarti has some question. Yes, Aarti.
Hi. I have a question about the BAs. So our BAs are responsible just the till the product backlog items are listed, because after or creating details or creating tasks, but after that when Scrum planning starts, Scrum Master is the in charge of everything, right? So are BAs responsible only till Scrum sprint planning meeting?
No, 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 no. It's not that. So what exactly happened? So see, now I am giving you more picture. Okay. So why Scrum came into the picture? Why Agile came into the picture? Earlier, everything was has to happen through the phases. Okay. Means things will follow certain rules. You will send email and work will be done. But business analysts and every team work very closely with each other. So what exactly happened if developer is designing something, okay, based on some availability, based on some information available in the user story he's designing, he may have some question, right?
Yeah.
And tester is designing some test case. He may have some question. Solution architect want to discuss something with the BA because he has the knowledge of the requirement. Okay. Product owner wants to discuss for the next available product backlog item or next requirement. Okay. Business analyst is available, and business analyst is available in a way that you will not find him sitting idle, and he is always engaged to solve these problems. What will happen if business analyst is not there and someone gets the problem popped up, say for example by developer? Okay, so where should developer go?
To BAs?
Scrum Master.
In case BA is not available. Exactly, that's right. Scrum Master.
Yeah, Scrum Master.
And Scrum Master will make sure that business analyst is available. So when I'm answering this, I'm answering that how business analyst so much occupied with the entire team member. When he published the requirement, it does not mean that he's sitting idle. He has lot many other activities to do. Just now, I just named a few. Okay, so this is how he is going to remain busy. And in the meantime, he can also have some leisure time to do some thinking activity, to identify some changes and communicate those changes with the customer so that he may come up with the new requirement as well. So he's always working in that way. Cool, you got it?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other question? And with these discussion, we have touched the time and we have gone in more detail. So whose session was this? I mean, who is your day one? Who was here for the day one as a day one? Who was that person? Okay, I just. Yeah, Sandy. So Sandy, it's your day one. I understand we get into more detail. So how did you feel about the entire discussion? Does it make
I'm trying to get the gist of it. I have to go through the previous sessions.
Okay.
And I want to get thorough with those before I
Okay.
get into
Yeah.
the other classes is what I feel.
No problem. So thank you so much, Sandhya, for just trying to digest this long discussion today. And yeah, this is going to, even though it was your day one, I hope that a little bit idea you have that how things flow. Right, Sandhya?
Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome. So I want everyone now to summarize whatever you have learned and share in the video form, the 90-second video. Only the purpose behind that is that you become the pro in the topic, and that's how we are expecting it from you. And what I want you, in case you have not filled the form, go ahead and fill the form that you are going to get inside the WhatsApp group, and please type into the WhatsApp group what did you feel about the class today. Find your questions get answered, and you are finding it more easy to understand and getting into more depth of the Scrum process and getting ready to start working or not. So these all things we are going to read it, and that's all. So in case no question, we can wrap it up. And thank you so much everyone for showing up. Thank you, everyone.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Hiteshi, please go ahead.
Sir, it's not relevant to what we have discussed.
Okay,
So
Hiteshi.
it
No
may
problem.
confuse some people. So I'm so sorry about
So
that.
you want to wait for them to drop?
I mean, it's completely up to you
Okay,
whether you
okay.
want to take the question or not.
Okay, so whoever
uh,
feel like getting dropped, please drop off, and whoever want to hear, they can hear. Yes, Hiteshi, go ahead.
Sir, we know about the release plan. So you explained very well. So I just confused with the release plan and the PI planning.
And what?
I know you have not touched with the PI planning part.
Okay.
So the release plan and the PI plan, they both are different or the same?
Okay, so PI plan, that's a good thing. That is the part of Agile for sure. So PI plan is all about the program increment. Okay, it's not for the small sprint. Okay, so these sessions are regular, and these are throughout the year it happens, and it has to do with the what I call it. Have you heard of Agile release train?
Yes.
Okay, so when multiple teams within the same Agile release train meet, okay,
right, I'm sorry, they come in a one room, and PI planning is for the 2 days. There are 100 of Scrum teams which comes in at a one place, and they discuss all the sprints. They come up with a product backlog and all these things. So is the PI planning and the release planning, they both are same or the different?
Both are different. Both are different. Okay, both are not the same. Okay.
Okay, so agile. So PI is for agile, and this release is for Scrum, or should I say safe?
No, you can't say that both are same. See, I mean, release plan, understand in this way that release plan when we are talking, or release document when we are talking. So this is typically attended by the, means it may be attended by the entire team in presence of customer. So, and PI planning is attended only by the members of team who will be working on the task, okay, in the current iteration, you would say, okay, where everyone will be sitting and discussing more in detail. However, in a nutshell, as a future Scrum Master and future business analyst, you should not worry about this. That's what I would say. Because see, this is designed in a way that even a working woman can start working as a business analyst or Scrum Master. So if I am enabling working women who have never worked in IT, should I go ahead and tell about these all immediately about this, who will do the release planning, who will do the PI planning? So this is more dedicated towards not make them confused and make them confident, so that tomorrow they can start working as a business analyst or the Scrum Master. But it is right to ask when you have the knowledge about the release planning, release schedule, and PI planning and all. There are more multiple things are there inside. So once you get inside and you will have this experience, that's good. However, just to answer your quick query, understand in this way that release planning is more towards, customer will be available. In PI planning, customer will not be available, and it will be done by the team internally, who will be involved in the current iteration cycle. Okay.
Yes.
And you yourself answered very well what is PI planning and what you all discuss in the PI plan. Okay.
Yeah, because the client gives the feature, and then we put the epic, then we put in the user stories, then the task, then the subtask, right?
Exactly. That's right.
Secondly, the Manu asked the question that who will synchronize when the developer done the coding? Who will tell the tester that, please start the testing? Hey guy, I did the coding, you do the testing. So correct me if I'm wrong. When we do the stand-up meeting on an everyday basis, the developer will tell, okay, I'm done with this user story, 50% is done. So the tester automatically gets the answer, okay, this user story is going to finish in next, few days or a few hours, then I have to do the testing. So first answer is, secondly is that when the developer is doing any coding of any user story, he put the subtask in Jira, where they understand, okay, this one is done and this is, will be done in few days. So from there also he can understand the tester that,
Okay,
this
let me,
is going to happen.
Hitesh, just I'll hold you back and everyone listen because you are available. So what exactly happens when in the stand-up meeting, as Hitesh says that a developer is going to say that, hey, I have worked, 50% work is done, 50% work is not done. Where he is reporting this all? Is he only reporting on verbally, or he is
Jira.
also reporting into the tool, into the ticket? Is he reporting into the ticket? And when he is working on some item, so you are going to say what is the workflow of the item, what all the phases one item inside any ticket management tool undergo. Okay. So because I just wanted to answer these all things later, but still because the question has come, even if you get confused, don't get confused, and listen to the if you can understand this. So what happens, he is working on an item, okay, and that is marked in the ticket management tool, that is, say for example, is Jira or Azure DevOps. So what is going to happen, initially then item, when it will become to developer, it will be assigned to developer and will remain in a phase to which we call it as a open state. Do you agree?
Yes.
Because it is open, it is not yet worked. And the moment developer done working on that, and he ensures now this item on which he has worked has been resolved and has been deployed into the testing environment, because right now it was available into the development environment, and the moment it gets deployed, he makes sure the item will get moved into the testing environment. Then after that, he will mark that item from open to resolved. With me so far?
Yes, sir.
And that item will be assigned to the tester. And now the moment tester sees something is assigned to him, it means he has the clear-cut indication. Now this item is ready to start testing, and I can go ahead and start testing. He should not worry that things has been moved into testing or not. In case it fails, he will assign back to the developer. Is it clear? So ticket itself says that. Okay. And developer has taken some responsibility to mark it as resolved. Before resolving, he is making sure that DevOps team has deployed it into the right environment, into the testing phase. Okay. So did it answer your query more in detail?
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Manu
much.
and Hiteshi and all. So any other question around it? I know it is going to go more intense when you have come with the already worked experience. Okay. So if no question, then we can wrap it up. Any other question, guys?
Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Hiteshi. So I hope no question. Thank you so much, everyone. You have learned a lot today. And go ahead, watch this recording one more time and get more relaxed with the time slot of watching. Watch it in a time interval and make be pro in that and summarize it well and share it back. Thank you so much. Bye-bye and good night,
you, sir.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take rest. Bye-bye. Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all.